Hello everybody and welcome back to another Marvel Legacy review. I've got this Wolverine shirt I haven't worn in a long time because it's time to talk about the final Wolverine movie, and that is Logan, which released in March 2017, directed by James Mangold, starring Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, Dafne Keen, Boyd Holbrook, and Richard E. Grant. This is Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart's last movie as their respective characters, and that's really what this whole thing rides on. If you're not familiar with the characters, if you're not familiar with the actors in the roles of the characters, I'm not sure how emotionally resonant it's going to be with people. This is somewhat in the future. It's not a dystopian future like robot sentinels killing everybody, but it's more of a realistic dystopian future where automation and racial tension are on the rise, creating this more, I guess, less humanized world. This is a world without the X-Men. They're gone now. And I think without them fighting for equality, it's a lot easier for people to become less caring of others. And it definitely reflects the R-rated tone and the fact that Wolverine can finally stab people. I mean, he's a character whose whole thing is that he stabs people. So him not being R-rated throughout any of the other movies is dumb, except for like the unrated cut of the Wolverine. Finally, here he is, all the blood and gore. It is very bloody, it is very gory, and since this is his final movie, it was necessary and they did it right. Wolverine is dying because of the adamantium that's poisoning him. It's at the point now where his healing factor can't keep up with it, which is why he looks much older and why he isn't healing as well or as quite as strong as he was before. And it's especially sad to see Professor X, who's in the state that he's in now. He has these seizures which causes his powers, since he has telepathic powers, to affect everybody around him. And that was what resulted in the death of the X-Men. Him accidentally killing the X-Men is what led to Transigen, the evil company, essentially using gene therapy through agriculture and stuff to weed out mutants and stop them from being born, so that they could create their own mutants and use them as weapons. Their ultimate weapon, X-24, is what eventually kills Professor X. He's a clone of Wolverine, who's just a complete animal. I'll get to that more in a second, but it's very sad since the audience never knows if Professor X knows that it wasn't Wolverine who actually killed him. Since, you know, they've known each other for so long, the audience has known these characters for so long. Very, very depressing. So, the killer of Professor X is X-24, the just pure animalistic clone of Wolverine, controlled by Transigen. He's the physical threat of the movie. He's not in it that much, but he works very well because the movie is called Logan. This is the most human X-Men movie because it just focuses purely on the characters. No crazy, time travel or robots or whatever. By the end of the movie, Logan is at his most human, most just, least animalistic state, where he has to fight just a pure rage-filled clone of himself, and I think that works really well. And, as a physical threat, it's probably the best thing they could have done, I guess, because it works symbolically as well. That's not the only Wolverine clone / blood-related person. You also have X-23, or as she's called in this movie, Laura. In the comics, she's a clone, but in this, she's the daughter. She's one of the weapons created by Transigen among the last living mutants. And she gives something Logan a reason to fight, whether he wants to or not. He just wants to leave with Professor X, but obviously things go awry when Professor X dies. She's the daughter of Wolverine, so she has the same powers, basically. And I'm honestly surprised, and I think one of the best things about this movie, that they did not shy away from her at all. Like, she is chopping people's heads off. She gets a harpoon through her chest. She can survive because she has the healing factor. And I'm honestly surprised by, the emotional maturity they handled with her and her conversations with Logan. He just tells her that, yeah, I'm probably going to kill myself. That's something that you probably wouldn't see in most movies of, especially in this genre, this franchise, of the main character telling that to his daughter. There are some things that, are retreads of previous things in the franchise. The villain is an evil military guy who wants to get rid of mutants. Of course, we've seen that before. But I did like how when he's monologuing at the end, Wolverine just shoots him in the throat. It's always good to see a villain monologue cut short. And it does have that sort of father figure child road trip trope that has been done in a lot of things like God of War, The Last of Us, The Road. Luckily though, all of those things are done well here, so I don't really care. To talk about some of the technical things, the music is really good. It's very distinct and gives it this almost semi-Western feel that none of the other movies have in the series. The cinematography is great, especially like how the action scenes are done, like I've mentioned, very gory and bloody, and they don't shy away from the things that they did before since it's rated R. The effects are mostly good again from, you know, all the blood and gore, but sometimes it really stands out. Like there's a scene where Logan and Professor X and Lara are trying to escape from the bad guys, and they like hit a fence and get caught, and it just really, really stands out. There's a couple of moments there, but again, it's R-rated, so the budget is a little bit lower. So I guess I can understand why that's the case. And it's very rare. It doesn't happen throughout the whole movie. So this is an amazing send-off to characters who shined in a franchise that as a whole maybe wasn't that great. Everyone can admit that Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Patrick Stewart as Professor X were really, really good. Even in the movies that weren't that great. These characters made it through a franchise that was filled with some not so good movies and still had this amazing send-off is really good. And yeah, there's not much to say. It's amazing. I feel like I always say there's not much to say, and all these reviews are the same length. So, I don't know. That's what I thought of Logan. Go check out some of my other videos, since I'm getting less views than normal for some reason. Even though, like, my subscriber count is growing. I don't know how it works. Just go watch them if you want. That's gonna do it. Goodbye.